Hey, if it like YouTube, welcome back to another episode. Okay, so the tank is an absolute shambles just now. This pineapple sponges are taking over the whole tank. You can see all this bits of sponge flying about everywhere. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get in here with a toothbrush and I'm going to scrub all the rocks and try and get some of this pineapple sponges out of the system, because it's just a nightmare. It's just clogging up my filter, and the water's just constantly got this crap floating about in it. So, yep, I'm going to take out what rocks are not glued down. I'm going to take them out, scrub them, and then put them back. So, let's get started. Okay, so I've scrubbed a few of the rocks in the tank and I've got off a fair amount of the pineapple sponge, as you can see here. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a pump, and I've got an Ahoy compact 3000 or 5000, not sure which. And what I'm going to do is going to switch that on, blast all the rocks, and hopefully get as much of this pineapple sponge off the rocks as possible. Give the rock work a good blasting, and then I'm going to do a water change, and hopefully we can get a fair amount of this sponges out of here, and that'll obviously do the water change as well. So just about ready. I'm just going to go and blast all this rock and see what we can do. Any rocks that can be taken out, well, then I'm going to take them out. Okay, so we have some problems. So basically, the display tank, I noticed the other day that there was some flatworms in here. A couple of corals have died. Now, I don't think this is specifically connected to the flatworms. I think it is more than likely down to the light, and I just didn't lower the lights enough maybe. But the other side that I'm thinking is I'm going with some Acropora, and to be honest, I'm still not 100% sure that the tank's ready for that yet, because a lot of the SPS just look terrible, to tell you the truth. Now, there is another reason for that, is that I took all the frags out and I've dipped them all, and after the dip, especially this guy, just looks terrible. In fact, it looks like it's on its way out, to be honest. So yeah, that kind of sucks. So I'm going to get some flatworm exit and treat the tank. It's not acro eating flatworms. I think it's, in fact, there might be one here, look, and I think this is how they got in, was because I added that, when I added the grape callirpa, the Cheeto and the Alva, that's fine, but I added that grape callirpa, and I never rinsed it or anything. I just stuck it straight in the tank, and I think it had these flatworms. Now, I'll see if I can focus on it. I don't think I can. Nah, it's not gonna focus. But yeah, there, look. So there's one of them there. In fact, hang on, I'm going to go and get the magnifying glass and see if it... Okay, so here's one of the flatworms. Now, I'm not even sure if these are like the really bad kind, because all it seems to do is go in the glass and eat copepods. Like, obviously the flatworm's in the centre of the picture, And then all those other little white dots, they're like copepods. And it just seems to be cruising around the glass, munching away on the copepods. And this is what I found in the display tank, and I thought, oh my god. So I dipped all the SPS corals, and yeah, nothing came off. There was no flatworms on any of them. But when I lifted up a wee piece of rubble that was on the sandbed, I noticed there was like 3 or 4 of these guys tucked underneath it. So yeah, I'm going to get flatworm exit, treat the refugium, and then obviously I'll treat the display tank as well. Right, let me just take this macro lens off. So yeah, so that's where we're at now. As well as getting the flatworm exit, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some wrasse, and hopefully adding some wrasse, some natural predators, will help pick off and eat any flatworms that maybe the flatworm exit doesn't kill. Now I'm not too worried about the flatworm exit, to be honest, because realistically there isn't many in here. I don't think there's many, to be honest. I'm only seeing the odd 1, 2 or 3 in the refugium, and I've only seen a few under that bit of rubble. Haven't noticed any anywhere else. So hopefully we've caught it nice and early before they get to plague proportions. The only good thing is it's not acro eating flatworms, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, all the acros are doing pretty crap. Kind of regretting getting the SPS now, to tell you the truth. I think I should have perhaps waited a little bit longer, or instead of getting these Acropora tenuis and what have you, I maybe should have just got some easier ones like some Montipora digitata, Setosa, Bird's Nest, some little simpler ones, some Stylophora milka, just until the system kind of balances out, because although it has been the four months, the parameters and stuff are still constantly swinging up and down. The tank hasn't found its balance yet, to tell you the truth. So, and the pineapple sponges, after me cleaning and scrubbing all the rocks, it's made no difference. In fact, it probably made things worse, because bits of sponge have just floated onto other bits and covered it. So now I'm just leaving it. I'm not even going to bother about it. It's not doing any harm to any of the fish, and if anything, it's just an extra natural filter feeder. Doing a little bit of research on it, and the consensus is that in time, and as the tank matures and nutrient levels drop and what have you, the sponge will just disappear itself. So I think I'm just going to leave it. I did think about adding a angelfish, but I really didn't want angelfish in here, so I'm just not even going to do that. A subscriber did ask what happened with the Regal Angelfish. Obviously I've tried 2 now, and both of them haven't made it into the quarantine, which was kind of sad. But the first one obviously didn't make it because of my stupidity and the mistake I made, and then obviously if you look at that video you'll see that I did something stupid, didn't realise, and there was just no oxygen going into the quarantine tank, so ended up losing quite a lot of the fish. The other thing is with the second Regal Angelfish, it was in quarantine and it was doing great, eating like a pig, really doing well. I then did a water change, and I have got no idea, and Gary from Planet Ocean had no idea, but it just refused to eat after the water change. It just got skittish and it just hid behind the piece of decoration that I had in there. It just hid there. I tried feeding it, wouldn't touch an ounce of food. This went on for a few weeks, and eventually it just passed away. Looking at the body, it was perfectly healthy. There was no markings, no disease. I was just bamboozled, to be honest. No idea what went on with it. It was just spooked out after the water change, and that was it. It just refused to eat, refused to move, and unfortunately it didn't make it. So that was a really tough lesson, and I was kind of gutted with that. And then I just took it that, hey, maybe this is just a sign I'm not meant to have a Regal Angelfish in this tank. So, like I say, I'm not even going to bother with it again. The aquascape, I changed it slightly and opened up this area a wee bit. So we've got like a nice wee cove here. I've got the pumps turned up fairly high, so the sun's kind of blasted about. Now Poseidon, he's kind of becoming the dominant fish in the tank and taking on everybody. But there's no damage to anyone, everybody's still fine, nobody's actually getting injured. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some more fish. Like I said, I'm going to get some wrasse, and I think the plan is we'll get some anthias just to get another splash of colour. And one of the subscribers did mention, which I hadn't even noticed, that my fish are all blue or yellow. And I didn't even notice, but it's a good point that a lot of the fish in here are either blue or yellow, so it would be nice to get some pinks or oranges and stuff like that. So I'm going to try and get some nice wrasse, add a splash of colour, and obviously help should there be any flatworms or pests. That'll be a nice added bonus. And the anthias just to add some really nice movement to the top of the tank. So yep, that's the plan, fish wise. I definitely want to get another flow pump. Previous episode I did mention that I was thinking about adding a gyre. I've talked myself out of it because I had a gyre on the dead man's chest and I flipping hated it. I hated the look of it. I mean, alright, it was good for putting the flow across the top, but I just hated the fact that it needed to be cleaned so much, and it was an absolute pain in the backside to clean. Whereas the MP40s, these are a dream to clean, man. You just pull off the wet side, your dry side stays where it is, soak it in vinegar, give it a quick clean, pop it straight back on, no hassle. Whereas when you've got pumps that have got the cables, it's just a pain in the backside taking that out and hanging a cable that way. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get another MP40, and obviously I've made this side of the aquascape a bit taller, so I'm thinking I'll maybe just put the other MP40 here, have that flow coming this way, same as that other one. We'll see how that goes. And the sand, I'm just leaving it to sort itself out. This seems to be where it settles now, so I think what I might do is get some rough rubble, like calcium media or whatever, sprinkle that on there. Failing that, I might even add some encrusted Monteporas or something to go along here, or a chalice, something like that. I'm not going to worry about it, to tell you the truth. So yeah, that's the tank just now. Look, you can see the Poseidon and Alcatraz are having a little scrap now, kicking up all that dust and sponges, little bombs. Anyway, we'll leave them to it. Right, picked up some flatworm exit, so going to treat the tank. and hopefully get rid of this flatworms. So I've read the instructions, so I've calculated the dosage you need, and I'm just going to go and fire this into the tank. Okay, so that's the treatment in the tank now. So just a wee clip of lucifer, the hell freaky firefish. So like I said, we'll just leave the tank now and see how it goes. Hopefully that treatment will eliminate all those flatworms, but I'll also add some wrasse. So I'm going to go do some shopping for some wrasse. And that's it for this episode. Till the next one, thank you for watching. Happy reefing. Bye bye.